Well, I say hello, motherfuckers. What is going on, man? It's your boy Lost. And, man, as you can see in the background, man, I got a little something that I'm going to try, man. This is going to be the first one I ever did, folks. So, tell me in the comment section, man, what y'all think of it. If y'all want to see more of it, or you think I should just shut the fuck up and never do it again. But, anyway, man, so what we're going to talk about is UFC 228, man. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. Whenever I first looked at this card, I was like, man, ain't no way that's pay-per-view worthy, folks. And turns out, man, I was way off source with that. I was way off with it. The card ended up being amazing. The first fight, man, that I want to talk about is what drew me into MMA in the first place, man. And that was way back in 1996, man. It was a UFC event that I watched, and it was Tank Abbott versus Don Fry, man. That's what drew me in instantly. Way back in 1996, that's where I got hooked like a junkie. So ever since then, man, I've been a big UFC fan. I've never actually fought UFC. I've never trained MMA. Just a fan, you know what I mean? So everything I say, man, is from a fan's perspective. So, you know, don't try to kill me. Oh, that's not the technical name for it, or you know what I mean, all that other shit, man. But the first fight on the card, man, that I want to talk about is Jim Miller. I know a lot of y'all may know him, man, back in the day, a couple years ago, 2013, 14. He was at the top of the game, man. He was a beast. And he ended up getting bit by a tick. I know that's weird, but a tick. And it gave him Lyme disease. And he's been fighting Lyme disease, man, and he's been trying to fight. But as he spoke after the interview in the Octagon, he hasn't been able to train right. So he was finally able to train properly for this fight, and your boy came back, looked amazing, and won the fight. So after that fight was over, man, he was a bit emotional and stuff, so it was a good fight, man. I'm happy to see him back. Now, the next fight, man, is that I want to talk about is, I don't know how to say his first name, okay? I'm not going to lie. It's Geoff Neal, so I'm going to just call it Neal. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, man, be on the lookout for that dude right there, man. He fought Kowalkiewicz today, and man, he looked super nasty against that boy, man. I'm talking about, he is a hitter. He will be fighting for the belt, in my opinion. Not no time soon, you know what I mean, because he's still an up and comer. It was the fight UFC event was actually in his hometown of Dallas, but man, he looked good, bro. Now moving on, man. The Sterling Silver fight. Wow. Sterling Silver. I called that fight. I said Sterling was gonna win that fight. A lot of people doubted me, but the way he actually won that fight, man, was a nasty submission. It was amazing, to say the least. Now the next fight, man, that we gonna talk about is Torres versus Carla. And oh my God, if you did not watch that fight or the Neal fight, I'm telling y'all now, go find a way to watch that fight. Them two fights right there. Wow. I'm talking about, Carla got beat so bad. She looked like the character from Goonies. I'm talking about she had a big lump on this side of her head. She had a big lump on this side of her head. She had a big lump on her forehead. I mean, she was lumped up. She was lumpier than a woman that don't know how to cook gravy. When I say she was tore up, she looked like the dude from Goonies. Go look at that fight. Come back in the comments and tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, so now the next fight, man, I want to talk about is I was a big fan of this dude, man. And to be honest with you, he took a loss, and he has never been the same since. And I believe that loss, man, let him pretty much know that he was not at the top of the game, and ever since then, man, he has not been the same. And that is Dotson. He fought Rivera. The fight was a letdown. You know what I mean? I thought them two for sure was fitting to bang it out, and it was more of Rivera, you know what I mean, pushing, Dotson backing off. You know, not much was happening as far as like action. You know, he was stalking him, but he couldn't really hit Dotson because Dotson still got the movement, but he doesn't have that killer instinct, in my opinion. Whether that's from the loss he took a few years back or not, I don't know. You know what I mean? But he didn't look the same. He had the same movement, but he didn't have that same killer instinct where every punch was a nasty counter punch coming off of him. And it was a big letdown. It was a disappointing fight. I didn't enjoy that fight. That was probably the worst fight on that card, to be honest with y'all. And remind y'all now, I was a big Dotson fan back in the day. Back in the day, he was nasty. Now, the next fight I want to talk about, man, and excuse me again, but I do not know how to pronounce this guy's name. But he fought Davis. His name is Zhabib. And now Davis isn't really a huge competition. And you know, not that he's a slouch, because he is still in the MMA, you know what I mean, in UFC. But that dude Zhabib, be on the lookout for him. He is super nasty. I'm talking about mean with the moves. You know, he is a grinder. He reminds me a bit of to be honest with you, I don't really know who he reminds you of. But he's a good athlete, you know what I mean? He will be on the rise. I don't want to say, you know, how long it's going to take him or nothing like that. But I believe he has a shot to as well fight for a title later on down the line, as long as nothing happens to him where, you know, he gets Dotson or something like that, where he gets hurt, beat up pretty bad, knocked out, and, you know, it changes him as a fighter. But yeah, like I said, man, he got the same submission, and that's what crazy about this event. That Neil got, or not Neil, I'm sorry, Sterling got. They both put a submission that has never been done in the UFC, and that submission is when they was on the back, the high back, and the guy was bent over trying to shake him off. They grabbed the leg, one leg, and rolled that in while they still had the hooks and everything else, and rolled it into a leg lock. The shit looked like a banana split, like pretzel mix. The shit was nasty now. And it was just, it was a good fight. I'll tell you that right now. Like I said, Zhabib, I believe, will be on the up and coming. Now, the next fight we're going to talk about is the co-main event, and that was Jessica versus Carolina. Okay, and I know I'm pronouncing her name wrong. I'm pretty sure her name's not Carolina. But that fight right there, them two girls came out banging. I'm talking about throwing lava. And Jessica actually got the first one-punch knockout from a woman that I ever seen. And the thing about that is she is scary, folks. That division right there, that weight class, is the nastiest female weight class there is. There's a lot of bangers in that weight class, and I think she will be coming back up towards a title fight real soon. If not, I don't know what the UFC is doing, but she should definitely be up there fighting for a title real soon. Now, the next fight I want to talk about, which was the main event, okay, and that is Tyrone Woodley, Mr. Woodley, fighting old Daryl Till over there. Okay, now, before we get into the actual fight, man, I believe in my heart Till needs to move up in weight. Every time he fights at this weight class, he drains himself. And I was talking to a few of the guys that I game with and stuff like that, man. And we have been saying that. And when I seen him come to the weigh-ins, man, he looked bad. He looked drained. And not saying that would have made a huge difference in this fight, but I think it had an effect on this fight, and Woodley manhandled him. Took him down, pounded him up a bit, man, and it was nasty, and Woodley still remains the champ. And I know a lot of people that watch UFC and stuff like that, they hate Woodley. I don't know why. Because Woodley is always a good fight, in my opinion. A lot of UFC fans only want to see the Conor McGregor who goes out there and throws the one punch and knocks somebody out. Well, this is MMA, folks. You have wrestling, jiu-jitsu, karate, you know what I mean, mixed martial arts, folks. So there's going to be people who grab a motherfucker, slam them down, you know what I mean, ground and pound or wrestle them. You know, I'm not with that, you know what I mean, just laying on top of a person, moving every once in a while so the ref don't stop it. That's weak. But Woodley, man, always is looking for a finish, and I don't understand why people hate him so much, man. He is one of my favorites in the fight game period right now. And man, fight card was amazing. If you have a chance to go watch it and you didn't get to watch it, highly recommended that you go watch that fight. Even the prelims were amazing too. I watched Fight Pass cards. I watched Diego Sanchez. I watched all the Fight Pass cards, and then I watched the prelim cards, and I watched the main event card. And amazing card, top to bottom. Still gotta say though that Dotson Rivera fight was probably the worst fight on that card. Wasn't impressed with neither one of them. Would have liked to seen a whole lot more action out of that card. I mean, out of that fight right there on this card. But as a grade from on the card, when I first seen this card, out of 10, I gave it a 5. But after watching this card, I would have to say that this card was a 10. It was a good card, folks. So that's going to wrap it up, man. Just some of my thoughts and stuff on the fights. If you enjoyed this, man, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know down in the chat, man, what do you think about this type of platform that I'm trying to do here? If you like it, you know what I mean, let me know down in the comment section. If you don't like it, let me know what you didn't like. maybe I can change it, or maybe I just need to ex-nay the whole idea. You know what I mean? But I am Lost Souls Gaming, man. Peace out, everybody.